Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about the power of self talk. This is a topic that I personally love to talk about because I'm a true believer that the way that we talk to ourselves changes everything and it defines everything, like the decisions that we make, the things that happens to us on a daily basis. I truly believe that it happens based on the way that we talk to ourselves. Obviously, not everything because we cannot control everything, but a few things are based on that. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm going to be sharing a few tips about this and also a few ways to help you start talking to yourself in a more positive way and start being more positive about things and your goals and the things that you're going to achieve right now. This is something that I discussed with my group, with my clients last week, and I thought, why not share with everyone? Because I think so many of us can benefit from this. And yeah, let's jump straight into it so we can get the most out of this call. Okay, something I want to ask you, and something that I really, really want you to think about is what is that little voice inside your head telling you right now? Maybe you are aware of that voice, or maybe you're not aware of that voice. But think about, your thoughts. What are your thoughts telling you? Maybe right now they're telling you I'm a failure. Maybe they're telling you I'm never going to succeed. I'm never going to lose that weight that I want to lose. I'm never going to be able to achieve my goals. I'm never going to be able to get that job that I really want to get. Just right now, what is it telling you? What are those thoughts telling you right now? Let's say that I was able to somehow get into your brain, get into your mind, and I was able to listen to all the things that you're telling yourself. I can guarantee if I was able to do that, I will be able to tell you exactly what's going to happen in the future, what your future is going to look like. Why? Because I'm a true believer as well. I'm also a believer that our thoughts become reality. And if we're constantly telling ourselves that we're going to fail, that I'm never going to achieve that goal, I'm never going to be successful, I'm never going to be pretty, I'm never going to do this or that, then that's going to happen because you're already convincing yourself about those things. You're already telling yourself that those things are not going to happen. So obviously, nothing is going to change. Everything is going to be the same. Everything is going to stay the same. You're never going to push yourself out of your comfort zone because you're convincing yourself to stay there, and things are going to be exactly the same. Before, I never used to be aware of this little voice inside me. Or I never used to pay attention to that little voice because I was so used to that. To me, that was normal. I didn't even know that that little voice existed. It was just part of who I was. I didn't even think anything of it until recently, and recently maybe 2-3 years ago, that I've been more involved in like mindset work. And something that I learned is that there's two different things that I want to differentiate. So there's you, me, myself, and there's also my mind. I want you to think about your mind, this muscle up here, as a muscle. Think about your mind as a muscle in a muscle group in your body, just how we have our biceps, our triceps, our quads, our hamstrings, that they all have different functions. Think about your mind as another muscle in your body that also has functions. For your fingers, the function is to help you grab things. If you're drinking your tea, it helps you to grab or hold your cup of tea so you can drink it. Your mind, the job of your mind is to produce thoughts. And that's why we're constantly thinking about something. And that's why the mind is constantly feeling things, because the mind is just doing its job, which is producing thoughts. But it doesn't mean that the thoughts that the mind is producing, it's real. It's just there because you're used to it and you're not aware of it. So it's just doing its job, producing positive and negative, mainly negative thoughts. But then there's also you, myself, yourself. This is a different person. Just because your mind is telling you that you're going to fail or that you're never going to succeed, it doesn't mean that that's going to happen. So hopefully I'm making sense so far, but it's going to make more sense very, very soon. Just bear with me. Okay, but when you look at yourself in the mirror, again, think about all those things that that mind is telling you. Think about all those things that that little voice inside you is telling you. Like I said before, I was not aware of that before, but now that I am, I can see how much that was impacting me and how much that negative self-talk was holding me back. It was truly holding me back from achieving all the goals that I am achieving right now and that I want to achieve. And if you're not aware of this, and if you still living in, if you're still being used to this and you're not aware of that, that little voice is holding you back, nothing's going to change. And we don't want that. I want you to achieve your goals. I want you to succeed. I want you to be able to do anything and everything that you can, because we can all do it. Trust me, we can all do it. It's all just about being aware, making a change, and being more positive with ourselves. If you can change this, if you can change that little voice inside you, your life is going to change. And obviously, changing that, it's not going to happen overnight. And it's not going to be easy at all. Just like anything, any change takes time. It can be scary, yes, but it takes time. It also takes consistency. Same with your fitness journey. If you want to lose body fat, it doesn't happen overnight. You just don't lose weight after one day of sticking with your meal plan or one day of going to the gym. It takes time. It takes weeks and months and months and months of work and work and work and work until finally you lose that weight, until finally you get, achieve that goal that you want to achieve. With the mind, it's a little bit different, because even though it does get better, it will never be 100%, never, because that voice is always going to produce those negative thoughts. But it's up to us to challenge those thoughts and to change that. So we remind ourselves of the positive thoughts instead of convincing ourselves of the negative things. Okay, so what is self-talk? Self-talk is an internal dialogue that goes in our mind that you might not even notice it. And there's two different types, as I mentioned before. We have the positive self-talk and we have the negative self-talk. So what's the main difference between the two? Whenever we have a positive thought, a positive self-talk, let's say, I am wonderful, I am achieving all my goals, what happens? Your body starts releasing dopamine and serotonin, and that makes you happy, that makes you excited, that makes you motivated. Let's say an example with fitness. Let's just say, for whatever reason, I'm a very anxious person and I get anxious before going to the gym. If instead of me being like, oh my gosh, I'm so anxious, like people are gonna laugh at me, if instead I tell myself, like, I'm so excited, I'm so freaking excited that I'm able to go to the gym, because I'm gonna get so excited and so happy, dopamine is gonna be released, serotonin is gonna be released, and then I'm gonna feel more motivated. I'm gonna step into that gym, I'm gonna smash my workout, and everything is gonna be just fine. And with time, I'm gonna be able to overcome that gym anxiety. So that's a positive self-talk. On the other hand, if I am already a very anxious person and I keep telling myself about how going to the gym is not going to be good for me, people are going to be looking at me, people are going to be judging me, people are going to make fun of me, then what's going to happen in my body? Cortisol is going to be released. And as we know, cortisol is a stress. It means our stress are very, very high. Why? Because I'm telling myself that all these things are going to happen, which they haven't even happened, but I'm telling or convincing myself that's going to happen. That's going to make me feel even more anxious. That's going to make me feel more stressed about going to the gym. That's going to make me feel overwhelmed. And maybe I'm just going to be like, you know what? I don't want that to happen. Maybe I just stay home and I won't go to the gym. And that's why I told you earlier, that's why that negative self-talk is holding us back and is not letting us achieve the goals that we want to achieve. Another example, let's just say it's your first time speaking in public. Maybe you're at work and you have to do a presentation in front of 50 people. If you were to have that positive self-talk before going up on that stage to give your speech or to give your presentation, you're going to be excited and you're going to be happy and you're going to tell yourself, yep, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. You're going to go up there. Yes, you might be nervous a little bit, but because you're going to be so happy and so motivated, it's going to be much, much, much easier. On the other hand, if you have that negative self-talk just before you go on stage, you're going to convince yourself that you're not going to give a good presentation, that people are going to be laughing at you, maybe that your hands are going to be shaky, or that your voice is going to be shaky. What's going to happen? I think you already know the answer. That's going to happen because you're already convincing yourself that those negative things are going to happen. Where is this narrative coming from? Whenever we have those thoughts about I'm a failure, this sucks, or my life sucks, I will never achieve this goal, I'm so ugly, I'm so horrible, I'm so this, I'm so that. Where is this narrative coming from? Where is this little voice, those thoughts coming from? Many different places. Number one, it can be inherited. So from your parents, maybe from your siblings, people close to you, maybe your family, grandma, granddad, aunties, cousins, all the environment around us. Number two, it can be learned, maybe with your teachers, society, the things that we see on social media, the things that you see around you. And it can also be created. So it can be created due to life experiences. Maybe giving you the example that I gave you before about the public speaking, maybe in the past you didn't have the best experience. So if it happens to you again in the future, then you're gonna think, oh, this is gonna happen again, I'm gonna embarrass myself. And you're gonna make that based on that experience that you had in the past, which obviously it's not ideal, but as we know, it happens. But if right now this little voice is not helping you, if right now this little voice is holding you back from reaching your goals, it's up to you to change that. And something that you need to do is that you need to reprogram and rewrite that program up there. What's up here? Because if you don't do anything, nothing's going to change. No one can go inside your brain. No one can do the work for you. No one can change that voice for you. It's only up to you to change that. We're all adults. If you're watching this, you are an adult. Or if you're listening to this, you are an adult. If you want to change your life, then you need to start changing that voice that's up here. You need to start changing that self-talk that you have with yourselves. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And this is something that I constantly tell you guys. Think about that little voice right now, that negative voice right now, like a virus. Let's say our body is a computer, and that virus, that negative self-talk, it's living right there right now, and it's literally killing you. It's killing you, and it's holding you back big time. But we want to change that, okay? We're going to change that because you're listening to this. And if you're listening or watching this, it's because you want to make a change. You want to do something about it. Otherwise, you wouldn't click on this video or click on this podcast, and you wouldn't be listening to me right now. Okay. Another thing that we're going to do is think about just one, okay? Not all of them, but what is that one dominant thought in your mind right now that is holding you back? I know that we have plenty. Okay, there's not just one, but there's always a dominant one. Let's just say it's, for me, it was, you're not going to succeed. You're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail with your business. That was the dominant thought that I had before starting my business. That was the main thing that I was holding back big time because it was so scary. And that thought told me, like, what do you think? Like, are you joking? You will never be successful at this. You will never be able to run your own business. Are you crazy? So for me, that was a dominant thought. But I want you to think about, what is your dominant thought? If you don't know the answer just yet, pause this video or pause this audio, get your pen and paper and write down all the thoughts that come to your mind right now. All the negative ones, okay? Not the positive, but all the negative thoughts that come to your mind. Once you write down everything, there has to be something like a pattern, something that you see, I can see this thought keeps coming up, or those thoughts right here are very similar, so then you can come up with something. Once you know that dominant thought, then we can do something about it. We can do something about it, okay? So the technique to change that, number one, is to identify that dominant thought, so be aware of that thought, which is exactly what we just did, okay? And second thing is to change this with something positive. We need to challenge that negative thought. If we don't challenge it and we don't change it, again, nothing's going to change. So when we change this thought, a few things we want to think about is, number one, we want to make sure that new positive self-talk, or that new positive thought, that thought that we're challenging it with, it has to be something true. It has to be realistic. If you make it unrealistic, there's no point of doing this, okay? There's just no point of doing this, because these are things that are really going to happen in your life. So we have to make sure that we are realistic. By saying this, I don't mean, think about, how do I put it? Don't hold back, but at the same time, don't make it too unrealistic. I think you get my point. Okay, the second thing, it has to be something empowering. And the last thing, and the most important one, it has to be in present tense. So when you are talking about that affirmation, that positive self-talk, don't talk about the future, like one day I will achieve this, one day I will achieve that. Think about that thing as if it's happening right now. Present tense, that's the main point right here. So true, realistic, empowering, and present tense. So let me give you a few examples so you can get the idea of what I'm saying right now. So for me, before it was, my fear, my negative self-talk, self-talk, it was that I'm going to fail with this business. I'm going to fail with my online coaching. People are not going to buy my product. I'm not going to be successful. Nothing's going to change. People are going to laugh at me. But the main thing was like, I'm going to fail. So how can I change that to something that is true, empowering, and present tense? Instead of saying, I'm going to fail this business, something that I tell myself now is that I am capable of overcoming all challenges. Because when you run a business, there's so many freaking challenges, but I am capable of overcoming those challenges because I'm going to be successful with this business. So as you can see, this is true because I can do it 100%. This is empowering because this is motivating me, and this is present tense. I am capable of overcoming all challenges. Okay, another example. Let's go back to our fitness journey. Let's say right now you're telling yourself, you just started with your journey, you want to lose body fat, but you're telling yourself, I'm scared I won't be able to stick to my nutrition plan. Maybe this you have done in the past, and in the past you have failed, okay? So you have that fear again, and that fear is holding you back. So instead of you telling yourself, I'm scared, I'm gonna fail again, like I don't want to do this, how about we change that to this positive affirmation? I am committed to my nutrition plan, and I will make the best choices. See the difference? One, you're scared, that fear. And the second one, you have that affirmation, that positive, present, and empowering affirmation. I am committed to my nutrition plan, and I will make the best choices because it's my choice, it's my decision, and I am choosing to do that. Okay, next example. Let's say you have anxiety when you go to the gym. And that anxiety right now, it's holding you back. Let's say you promise yourself that you were going to go to the gym 3 times a week or even twice a week just to start with, to get used to the environment, get yourself used to going to the gym, but you have that fear holding you back. And right now that fear is telling you, I am anxious about not reaching my fitness goal because you're anxious about going to the gym. So instead of you keep repeating yourself like you're anxious, you're anxious, you're anxious, why don't we change that? Why don't you change that to something like this? I am achieving my fitness goals one step at a time. I am achieving my fitness goals one step at a time. So again, I'm being realistic, I'm being empowering, and it's present tense because I am achieving my goals one step at a time. How are we going to achieve those goals? Literally one step at a time. We cannot expect to be from 0 to 100 overnight. Changes are going to take time. So we tell and remind that to ourselves, that positive self-talk, it's going to help you do the work one day at a time, one step at a time. Okay, next example. What I'm telling you right now are just examples, by the way. Remember, this is just to give you an idea of how to write those affirmations. Next example. I'm worried about not fitting in at the gym. Again, let's say you have that anxiety going to the gym. So you have that fear that you're not going to fit into the gym, that people are going to look at you, make fun of you because maybe you don't know how to use the machines, how to do the exercises, what things to do, how to turn on the cardio equipment. Instead of telling that to yourself, how about we change it to something like this? I am confident in myself, in my journey, and I belong in the gym. Because we do. Every single one of us belongs in the gym. So again, you're going to tell yourself, I am confident in myself and in my journey, and I belong in the gym. We have to remind that to ourselves on a daily basis. We can all do it. Remember, we can all make it happen. And last one, pretty sure this is the last one. So last one, if you have fear of rejection, which is something I used to be afraid of, and I think most of us as humans, we are afraid of rejection because no one likes to be rejected. No one likes to be rejected. Like if you like to be rejected, comment down below and let me know. I don't think any one of us right now in this world, in this planet, likes to be rejected. So if you have that fear right now, an affirmation that you can tell yourself, something along the lines of, I am proud of myself for putting myself out there. Because if you don't put yourself out there, how do you think those opportunities are going to happen? How do you think you're going to overcome those challenges? How do you think you're going to get better if you don't get rejected? I think rejection, now I understand that rejection is one of the best things that can happen to you because that's how you improve. That's how you can get better. And that's how you can slowly see what works, what doesn't work for you. And trust me, it does get better with time. Like once you have that feedback, even though at the time obviously you don't like it, it does get better. It does get better with time. But as I said before, with these affirmations, with this positive self-talk, You have to do this on a daily basis. You must repeat this to yourself daily. If you do it every now and then, if you do it once a week, if you do it once a month, if you do it once a year, I can guarantee absolutely nothing is going to change. But if you promise yourself, maybe put some alarms on your phone or something and do it every single day, trust me, slowly things are going to change for you. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because things are changing for me. What I do now every single morning, like literally every single morning, I get up. If it's during the week, which I go to the gym, I get up, I get ready to go to the gym, so I put my clothes on, drink my water. While I'm eating something downstairs, I get my pen and paper, and I write down all my affirmations, every single one. It's the same thing every single day, and I just write them down, and I tell myself like this is gonna happen. I talk out loud to myself because I need to believe that it's gonna happen. I need to convince myself that those things are gonna happen, and they're happening right now. That's why I told you this topic is so interesting, why I love talking about this topic so much, because I truly, truly believe in this. Again, it has to be done every single day. We can all reprogram our mind. We can all reprogram those thoughts that are up here. But it's up to you to want to do the change. And it's up to you to put in the work and do this consistently every single day. I hope this was useful. I hope you took away some really good tips from this podcast. And I really, really hope that you start applying the tips that I just gave you, because I do want to help you achieve your goals. And I do know that with this little exercise that I just gave you, the affirmations, writing down those thoughts, the way that you talk to yourself is going to change, and things in your life are going to change. And I can guarantee that. But I can only guarantee that if you do the work. If you don't, I can also guarantee that nothing is going to change. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to share it on your social media and tag me at Daniela Del Carpio. Until next time, and as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao, ciao.